Hi everyone, welcome to Honey Drops Tarot. This is a bonus reading for the sign of Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Sagittarius, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your likes, shares, and subscribes. I truly appreciate it. Just a quick note, please do not fall for any scammers. I will never reach out to solicit for a private reading. I do offer private readings, and if you're interested in signing up for one of those or in making a donation, the link to my Buy Me a Coffee donations and services website, to my official Instagram and TikTok can all be found in the About section of my YouTube page, and I thank you so much in advance. So, Sag, I hope that you're doing well. This special bonus reading involves what messages are your spirit guides trying to bring you in your dreams? Dream messages from your spirit guides. So, I'm going to be using 3 decks for your reading today. First is going to be the Oracle of the Universe. The second will be the Human Spirit Oracle. And the third, Tarot of the Divine, which is, thank you, Spirit, which is not a deck that I use very often. But it's so beautiful. I don't know why I don't use it often, but here we are. So, cards have been pre-shuffled. This is for Sagittarius. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, that was fast. The Aquila constellation, number 24, which reduces to a 6, the Lover's card, Gemini energy in the major arcana. And the word is power. Power. So he's going up against this great eagle with a bolt of lightning. I'm sure there's some kind of mythological story behind that. Unfortunately, I don't know what it is. But he definitely looks like he's in a defensive pose. So it's kind of like, are you the person or are you the bird? The fact that I even had to ask that question is interesting, because the answer seems like it should be obvious, but it's not. I almost see this as 2 sides of the same self, that you are represented by both entities here. This reminds me of, I don't know if this is what it is, but it kind of looks like a falcon, like a peregrine falcon. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not like a super bird person, but like peregrine falcons are extremely powerful. They're those falcons that like dive bomb, and they like prey on their target by just like slamming into them. It's brutal. Peregrine falcons are no joke. So I don't know why, but I see that energy for you right now. It's kind of like there's this power play or power dynamic, but I feel as though it's completely internal. Spirit just said objection, rejection. So I feel like it's okay. You may have had, I don't know if you guys have had dreams that involve entities that were stand-ins for your spirit guides. I remember the first time, it's only happened to me maybe a handful of times, where I recognized fully and completely that the person speaking to me in my dream was a spirit entity, a spirit guide. And I can't, and I hope that this one doesn't show up again, but like, I can't remember the exact line that he said to me, my spirit guide, but he basically like chided me in my dream. I mean, I don't even remember what he said. I didn't remember how it made me feel when I woke up, because I was like, ew, that was rude. But it was kind of like, what are you going to just sit there and do nothing? It was something like that. Where, are you just going to stand idly by while the world turns around you, or something like that? And it wasn't to demean me or to shame me, but more as this jolt, this trying to kick me into high gear. All right, so I don't know if you're dreaming about some kind of power play dynamic where you're being put on the spot, like a spotlight is on you, you're being put on the spot, targeted, isolated out. But this is the thing. In a sense, Spirit does do that. You think you're just living your little old human life and what's the big deal, and I'm not a big deal. And then one day it's like, nope, you're the chosen one. You're it. You're the one we chose for this specific task, this specific path. And then it's very humbling. It's like this, right? It's like he's the one that has the bolt of lightning. And yet somehow this entity is really intimidating him. It's humbling. So let's see where it goes. I'm going to get 3 cards for the base spread, 3 cards for clarifier. There's no past, present, and future. It's just a general reading, dream messages from your guides. Extra card came out. I'll take it. Okay, so I put the deck down and this card slid off twice, and so I'm going to take this one too. Interesting. Number 30 introduces to a 3 the Empress energy against the clock. So this was the other extra card that came out because I only wanted 3. This is number 4, what goes around comes around. I have a very tenuous relationship with this card. Against the clock, and what goes around comes around. Truly, they kind of fight one another, these energies, kind of like this. Because it's like, what passed us by will come back around again. And then against the clock suggests what passes you by will never come around again. And we have to beat the clock so we can make it on time with whatever. So there's this push and pull between these 2 cards, even though they're number 3 and number 4. Excuse me, that's not true. This is number 4 and number 30, which reduces to a 3. It's this sense here. There's something about time, the conception of time, and what we have to do within that space of time. Now, people say, well, time is an illusion. Yes, it is. At the same time, our lives in our human bodies are finite. So there is this push and pull. Perhaps you're asking, as Sagittarians often do, asking those bigger questions. What am I doing here? What's the meaning of life? What am I supposed to learn? And I see somebody learning, okay, yes, I am a divine being, and I do have this connection to God, Spirit, the divine. But then it's kind of like, okay, what do I do with all of that? How do I express that in a way that is productive and feels right and feels in keeping with who I am and what I choose for myself? Because there's a part of you that feels this limitation, like, I only have but so many years on this planet, and I just gotta go out there and do and be and have. And then there's this other part of you that's just like, maybe like a little, what's the point? I mean, it all just comes back around anyway, and with steam coming out of the head, it's like infuriating. Something could be frustrating. Karma, Act 2. Karma, Act 2 is what that little sign at the bottom says. We're on this carousel. What? I said Ferris wheel. Ferris wheel and carousel together. This carousel. that's going around and around and around. And it's all fun at first, and then it's like, Mom, I want to get off. Like a hamster wheel. It's a really big energy. That's kind of intense, those two cards, that they're kind of like looking at me. They're really intense. Let me continue. So I've got the 3 base cards down. Let me pull the tarot. Extra card came out. Knight of Coins in the reverse. Knight of Pentacles. This is the slowest moving knight of all the knights. The knights talk about messengers. This one is trying to bring in an authentic message, but is having some difficulty in communicating it at this time. I feel as though you're waiting for your cue. There's a lot of stage-like scenery here, and it's bringing up these, like, I'm waiting for my line, my cue, the curtain to open, something to be revealed. It's not necessarily coming to me with the haste in which I would prefer. It's almost like, let's get this show on the road. Now I'm hearing that Queen song, The Show Must Go On. On with the show. That song is kind of devastating, and Freddie Mercury's story. It's interesting. Mercury came up in, I believe, the Leo reading. Something about Mercury for the fire signs. Mercury is the planet of communication. Anyway, The Show Must Go On, that song by Queen, it's really heartbreaking, right? Because I think when he sang that song, he already knew that he was dying. That's kind of an aside, but it's the sense that, like, life moves on without us, right? So yes, there's this part of you that's just like, I'm racing against the clock. I want to live my fullest life. But I'm feeling like perhaps there's just patterns that are repeating that I'm trying to break away from. Right? And how do we do that? It starts with this card right here, the road less traveled, number 10 of the major arcana. That's the Wheel of Fortune. Can see here this kind of space inside her mind. The path is leading to her crown chakra, or what's that chakra that's above the crown, the soul star chakra. I'm always saying in my readings that the greatest adventure that you could ever go on is understanding the self, like really diving the depths of the self. And I think that's what it is kind of happening here. That how do I get off of this carousel that just keeps going round and round and round? I keep making the same mistakes. I keep running into the same kind of people, the same habits. How do I get off? How do I get off? And it's kind of showing me here, Spirit's showing me that they're trying to open up new avenues for you to explore. Some of those could be appearing in your dreams. You could be having dreams of roads that you've never seen in your life. And then maybe in your waking state, they come true. I guarantee you, I know people that have had that happen. They've dreamt about a specific road, and then that road appeared to them in real life. Right? So it's good to pay attention to that. And if you're driving along a road in your dream, like, try to pay attention to, like, street signs or landmarks. Trying to open up a new avenue for you, of experience. You know, it's weird. This coloring here, I know it's supposed to kind of represent like a path, but for some reason, you know those big yellow, what do they call them? Those yellow snakes? What are they called? Banana snakes? I don't know what they're called, but that's what I'm seeing. You know, like the snake in the Britney Spears video, right? It was yellow, right? That's what I'm seeing. Your name could be Brittany. This is like coiling. Maybe you're feeling a little like you just want to break free. Okay, so I hear Freddie Mercury saying, I want to break free. I want to break free, that song. I don't even really know that song very well, but I heard his voice just loud as anything in my head. I want to break free, right? Four of Swords here to make some sense. Four of Swords talks about recuperation after heartache and heartbreak. That's what this card talks about. And the depiction of it, this wolf here, or whatever animal this is, they're all tied up, they're wrapped up. Usually the Four of Swords doesn't really depict somebody being like all in what is the word called? Enclosed, encased, entwined in something like this. So it's that I want to break free. I want to travel the open road, but I feel almost as if the road itself, the prospect of the road itself might be a little tenuous, a little, we're winding, we're meandering. It's a territory we've never been through before. We're not familiar. What's at the end of that road? Now I'm hearing that song, Follow the Yellow Brick Road. Wizard of Oz, Follow the Yellow Brick Road. Wizard of Oz could have a reference to you. At the end of the road, though, what did they find? If for some bizarre reason you've never seen The Wizard of Oz, I don't want to spoil it for you. Follow the Yellow Brick Road, though. They keep saying that over and over and over. Let me get a clarifier. This is for Sagittarius, please, Spirit. Two of Cups in reverse. You could be feeling rather disconnected from your higher self, your higher aspect. You could be feeling as though there's no camaraderie, there's no understanding, there's no intimate understanding inside of you. Like you feel like I'm hearing that line from The Matrix when Neo is talking to Trinity, and I think he says something like, what did the Oracle tell you? And she says, like, that the Matrix cannot show you who you are. And I feel like that kind of intensity, the depth of this, that maybe you're going through your dark night of the soul. It's a tedious business going through your dark night of the soul, your spiritual ascension. Very tedious business. But that the conventional ways of doing things is not going to illuminate your path, cannot tell you who you are. It's like we have to dive even deeper. And part of that might be resisting the urge to rush through it all. So then out comes number 43, which reduces to a 7, Chariot card. When all the Chariot card wants to do is rush through everything, then it's like, spill the tea. Spill the tea. I feel like you're saying this to Spirit. Can you please just give me some insight? Give me some answers. Make it make sense. I just heard somebody say, make it make sense, Spirit. This is kind of a funny card because she's shaped like a tea kettle. Where does that expression come from, spill the tea? Right? This is, I don't know, but Spirit is showing this to me specifically. You spill the tea, and then the tea leaves are at the bottom of the cup. And it's at the bottom of the cup in those leaves that the messages, right? Reading tea leaves. The messages can be found there. So maybe that's why they call it spill the tea. Reveal your secrets. It's clarified by number 13, the Death card of the Major Arcana. That's Scorpio energy, right? Here we are pulling back the curtain. Is it as scary as it seems in our mind? The Death card talks about death and rebirth, transformation. And we hesitate because it's like a terrain, again, that we don't know. But it's always, when we get the Death card, it's always for our best and highest good. Like something old and stale needs to come to an end, right? That's why Spirit is kind of showing you the road less traveled. You've already experienced so much, but it's time to shake up the system. I asked for a clarifier. I got the Six of Cups. Six of Cups talks about nostalgia. Looking back to the past with fondness. There's a resistance. There's a resistance. Everywhere I look, I see it in this card. And I said, is this you against yourself? Then these two cards, is this you against you? Right? Wanting to move forward and then being stuck on the merry-go-round. And then there's this card. But I like what I've done in the past. I like what I've learned back there. But have you noticed this crow at the top, which seems kind of like the random element in this otherwise happy-go-lucky depiction? That crow is a harbinger for me. It's almost like the Spirit just said, Father Time. Father Time. Father Time catches up to us all. Saturn energy. Saturn. The planet of restriction. Restriction, right? Like that snake that I could see here. Constriction. I think a part of you knows that you're going to have to let this go. Death card. You're going to have to, it's like you can look back, but you shouldn't stare. That our motion has to be forward thinking now. Right? In order for this to happen. That's two 13s, 13, 13 in your reading. Not a coincidence. And what's crazy, look at the color palette, blue and red. That baby blue and that like apple red, that's not a coincidence either. Two different decks. Even this gray up here, Not a coincidence. That's crazy, actually. Hit your target. Hit your target. Sorry, it's not focusing. It's this sense that it's that forward thinking again. And the apple here kind of suggests to me the symbol of the Sagittarius, which is the great archer, right? Like understanding the importance of focus and deliberation, being deliberate. It's clarified by the Queen of Cups. This is Cancer energy. It's beautiful. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Queen of Cups talks about a divine feminine that is full of compassion and emotion and love, really wanting to extend that energy out. Whatever your target is, it's almost like it will bring out the most loving parts of who you are. And that might be difficult because who you are thus far has been a warrior, a fighter, the great archer, right? Like somebody who is unafraid to take risks, take great leaps. But all throughout this reading, there's been hesitation. And I think it's because the final target or destination has to do with the landscape of the self, of discovering a greater depth to who you are. And maybe at the end of that path, you discover that you're sensitive, that you've been dealing with a lot of upheaval or trauma or strife in your life, and you know you've worked so hard to just overcome all of that, and you're getting to that place now, and forgiving. This is a very forgiving card. Forgiving all the past people and the past situations, because it doesn't behoove you to hold on to it anymore. So let's get a piece of advice from Spirit. One last card for the advice. Two cards came out. The 8 of Coins and the Strength card in reverse. This is Major Arcana number 8, Leo energy, fellow fire sign. Talks about a mastery of the ego. She got this card in reverse. Spirit is saying, because this is the card of diligence and hard work, Spirit is saying keep working, keep challenging yourself, keep on keeping on. The Strength card talks about our fears, ultimately, and how we overcome our fears. The first thing is by facing them and admitting to yourself what they are. That's going to take a lot of effort. You see, anytime we see birds in the tarot, kind of is reminiscent of thoughts and air energy, even though this is a Pentacles card. So there's like a lot of thoughts that you're kind of trying to assess right now. And this is Spirit's advice, which is keep working on it. Keep working on yourself. Don't be afraid of what you discover when you kind of traverse that road less traveled. Right? You're going into this seeming darkness here, but it could just be the shadow right at the doorway. There could be so much illumination behind it. So it's just like keep taking steps towards this healing. That's your reading, Sag. I hope that it resonated. If it did, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Please hit the bell notification to be updated as to when I post new readings. Thank you, Sag.